Do All the Crafts, and I'm Kat, and today we have a latch hook kit. I know this seems kind of retro 70s, the shag carpeting, latch hook sort of thing, but it's actually really fun and easy craft. It's great for kids. This is a nice size where it won't feel like too overwhelming of a project for them. It's, you can kind of see from the design is painted on there, so you don't have to do any counting or anything like that. You just basically match up the yarn to the color on the canvas. And so let's try it out. You can see down here, this is the blue. So I will pull out some of the blue yarn. Okay, latch hook is pretty easy. What you want to do is you want to wrap the yarn around the tool and then put it through the hole until you come up and you have the whole, everything of the tool through there, including the little, I'm not sure what this is called, but it basically closes in the hook. Okay, so you pull back down and you make sure that you got all the yarn, you're not like poking through part of the yarn, and you just pull it through so that it basically creates a knot around that piece of canvas. So you can see the motion in and of itself is fairly easy. So it's a pretty easy thing for anybody to pick up, really. I did my first latch hook, I think when I was about 12 or so. It took me a really long time to do it because it was a fairly big project, and I would kind of forget about it for a while and then go back to it. So it was a long time before it got done. But this size goes pretty fast. I actually have done another one of these, which I'll put a picture up at the end of the video, which is, I think, the same company, the same little kits. The thing I really like about these is they have this sewn on border here. So on some of the latch kits, it'll just be raw at the edges and you have to sew it under or do something like that. With this, once you put all of your yarn on here, it is done, it is ready to display. You don't have to do any extra sewing or anything like that. They also have these little like elastic hooks up here so you can hang it on the wall, or you can use it as sort of a little decorative floor rug. Now it does advise in the instructions that if you use it on the floor, it's mostly for decorative. You shouldn't let it get really dirty, and you just want to hand wash or spot clean it. So it's probably better to put it up on the wall so you won't have to worry about someone stepping on it and getting it really dirty. The instructions on here are pretty basic. It gives you the basic instructions for how to attach your yarn, and then it gives you some other tips, like if you have you want to start generally in the bottom corner like we did here, because that'll be easiest because you see the yarn's going down like this. If you started at the top, you would kind of be getting in the way of yourself. You also will notice that the design is printed on here, and you will have some parts where it's got a little bit of one color or the other, and you basically want to go for whichever one is the predominant color. Some of the ones you might have to judge a little bit. And if you get a little more practice at this, you'll kind of have a better idea of how to make the design really stand out. It's always going to be a little bit fuzzy because of the yarn, but you want to still be able to get the main part of the design so you can really see how it looks. It also talks about, like here, since this is just sort of partial, you probably don't want to worry about this, or if there was like a small partial row on the bottom, because it's going to be really hard to get the yarn in there. And once you get done with it, the yarn is fluffy enough that it will cover up those like slight partial edges. So the only one you would have to worry about is if there was kind of a partial one up here, because the yarn is generally done down this direction, so it may not cover up that. So it talks about if you want to do the top one, then you can, but it also says that you can do it like vertically up here. Like, see, on this one I probably will do that because there isn't a row above it, so there would be a bit of a gap. So it talks about doing these rows on the vertical bar instead of the horizontal bar. So I will try that out at the end and see how that looks. So you can see your supplies, you get your instruction sheet, you get your canvas, of course, you get a latch hook with it, and then all your yarn, which you probably will have a good bit left over, and you want to just, they actually give you some advice on maybe making pom-poms out of it. You could save it for another project because you can buy latch hook canvas just plain if you want to make your own designs. There's some fun stuff you can do with this. Is a great kit for kids. So I'm going to finish putting the rest of the yarn on here, and then we're going to come back and see what the finished product looks like. Okay, here you can see the finished product. It really didn't take me that long to make it, about 2 days. If you had, you could probably finish it over a weekend or a few evenings. It goes really quickly. One thing I do when I get done with it, I kind of just scrape along here and pull up some of the like extra fuzz that's on the yarn. Try to like keep from getting the dark colors on the light colors and the light colors on the dark colors, to kind of clean it up just a little bit. But it's always going to be like pretty fuzzy looking. Now you may have to fuss with the yarn a little bit to try to get the details a little bit more. It's always going to be, you know, not super detailed because of the medium, but you can try to get it to where it looks a little more like how you want it to look. And the back is pretty interesting too. You can actually see it kind of looks like, you know, cross stitching or pixelated art or crochet or something like that. So it's kind of fun. It looks cute on the back too. One of the things I recommend is having something to put your yarn in it while you're working, so it doesn't just kind of go all over the place. I have little spare yogurt cups. Any sort of like little small cup that you have around could be really good for that. This is kind of the perfect size. I can take it out of the plastic wrap and then just drop it right in here, and then just pull the yarn as I need the colors. So this is a really fun thing. I like that it is all finished. So once you do the craft, it's ready to go. You got little hooks on here. You can hang it up on the wall. I'll actually put some pictures in at the end of it up on the wall. And I have another one, I think it's by the same company. It's Little Mermaid. So I'll put some pictures of that in at the end as well. But all in all, I'd say this is a really fun kit if you want to try out the latch hook. It's really an easy craft to pick up. The only thing you want to be careful is when you're using the hook to not split the yarn, because then you can unravel it and it won't look really as nice. So it's the only thing you kind of have to get used to, that procedure, how to pull it through without messing up your yarn. But this is a great beginner craft, a great craft for kids, because it doesn't really require any reading. Once they can kind of get the emotion down of how to use the latch hook and they can match up the colors, it's really easy. So this is a fun, quick kit you can try out. Maybe a little retro, but I think it's pretty fun. All right, until next week, bye.